Nazis vanished without a trace. Folks, they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell, of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner.
Hello there, hello there, hello there everybody, how the devil are we all? Well, it's been a trying couple of days. Let's just put it that way. Yes, how are we all? Are you well? I do hope so. I've had a genuinely horrific couple of days. It's been very unpleasant. Yeah, firstly, Birmingham City lost at home to Middlesbrough. No shame in that, of course, but still not pleasant. So then yesterday, I got 3 pieces of horrific family-based medical news. That was nice. 2 terminal diseases, and yet another niece arm situation. So my great aunt, so my mother's father's sister, although she's in her 90s, so not not the end of the world necessarily, but still, she's been given about 6 months to live, so that's nice. And then my father, who was always had fucking medical problems, a malingering cunt. God bless him. Has been given between 2 and 5 years with terminal COPD, which I didn't even know existed. Anyway, it's a lung problem, crystallised shite on the lungs or something. Which, to be fair, his lungs have always been bad, because they didn't know back in the early 60s. They didn't know that he was allergic to penicillin, so when they gave him penicillin as a kid, his lung collapsed. So that's a thing that happened when he was like 6 or something. So his lungs have always been a bit rough. Although I did have to point out to him that it could have helped if he'd not spent all of his adult and indeed some of his not adult life in the 2 smokiest places in the world, the pub and the bookmakers, which is the place he chose to spend all of his life. In the 2 smokiest, like literally ridiculous. You might as well have lived in a fucking ashtray, you dopey bastard. Anyway, but yeah, so that's unpleasant, very unpleasant. And then of course the reason I didn't stream, because I would have, I think, probably quite liked to stream yesterday. We were planning to do a stream with Christy.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
No, with Christy it's always good, Gennaro, you're quite wrong. Yeah, we would plan to do a happy hour, and even with the bad news I would have been perfectly fine to do that. Oh yeah, the Birmingham game was the day before, that's why I didn't stream Monday. But my niece, I think I've told you before, we've had a few times now, we've had to go to the hospital. She's got what I like to call Mr. Potato arms, in that they're detachable. Her arms, shoulder sockets, don't seem to be very well adjusted at this stage. Apparently she'll grow into it and it'll become less of an issue later on, and by the time she reaches her teen years it'll be absolutely fine, apparently. But for the time being, even relatively minor tugs on an arm can dislocate the shoulder. And so for literally what must be the 10th fucking time she had to get taken to the hospital. And because my brother works away some of the time, he does well, it doesn't really matter what he does, it's nothing particularly special, but I don't know that he would want me to dox him or anything. Anyway, he works away from home some of the time, and so he wasn't there and she can't drive. So it's either call an ambulance and hope one arrives at some point in the next 3 fucking days. Thanks, regular fucking underfunding of the ambulance service by governments of all colours, you fucking pricks. Or call up someone who can drive. So yeah, she. Although, well, their own gender expression will come with time, I'm sure. But either way, for now we're going with she, because why not? I don't fucking know how it works. I'm not calling it it. Actually, I do call it it all the time. Like in that sentence. Anyway, yeah, so we had to go to the hospital. It was fucking traumatic. She's sort of got used to it, though. Like, it's obviously very painful for her, but it's happened so many times now that she's just sort of bored by the experience, which is supremely annoying, actually. Like, don't get me wrong, it makes it less stressful, but it makes it more annoying. Like, you should be freaking out right now. Why are the 2 adults in the car, like, genuinely on edge, and the child's just like... I was watching the TV. I was enjoying a TV show, you know, and just super chill about it all. She's just like, I've been through this a million times now, who cares? I know nothing's going to happen. It'll be alright. Whereas the 2 adults in the car are literally like losing their shit. So yeah. Yeah. I've got COPD from smoking. I don't use oxygen, but I struggle to dress myself. Haven't smoked for years, but too late. Well, that's the thing, yeah. They've said eventually he'll have to move on to either a little air thing, or then eventually maybe a bottle with oxygen and stuff. Although, I know my father. I know him too well. And this is a grim thing to have to admit, but
Stop it. Get some help.
Maybe I should, Michael, but I'm going to say it nonetheless. He will not get to that stage. I know he won't get to that stage, not because it's impossible medically for him to get to that stage, but the idea of himself becoming bedridden is like literally his worst fear. There's no torture you could impose upon him that would be more horrific than the idea of losing his personal independence. He's always said this. He said, don't put me in a home. No matter what happens, don't put me in a home. Fucking kill me. So I very much suspect that he will, let's say, take direct steps to ensure that he never reaches that stage. Because if I say the thing that you know I'm saying in that, I might get flagged for not copyright. I mean, technically loads of people have done it, but they don't own the copyright to it. And how would they enforce it, I guess? But either way, yeah, I'm absolutely sure that he will do that. Anyway, so yeah, that would be terms of service. I suggested that he would do the thing that... You know when I say go to Switzerland, it's like that, except he won't go to Switzerland. He'll stay in Britain and do it. But there we go. So that's, like, hopefully you understand the situation I'm in here. It's emotionally, how do I put this? Like having your skin peeled off and salt rubbed in the wound 24 hours a day. It's very, very, very unpleasant and painful. It's extremely bad. Literally, the last 24 hours have been torture. Anyway, life goes on though, doesn't it? Transient though it is. Right. That I like being honest with you all, so I've just put that out there. You can do with it as you wish. Right. I'm not really going to talk so much about Iran right at the top, because we're going to do Prime Minister's questions, and that gets mentioned. So we'll use that in the way that we always do, which is the topics that get talked about are used as a jumping off point for me, or if I'm watching it with somebody else, to talk about, right? So we'll do that rather than me like going, oh, war is bad. Like, yeah, okay, we know. Starmer ain't no Churchill. It's so true. For though maybe in America it hasn't become like it wasn't that much of a news story or whatever, but the fantastic, ludicrous, but ultimately sort of correct statements from Donald Trump about how Keir Starmer is no Winston Churchill. I mean, that's not really true. Winston Churchill was also a massive Zionist freak, genocidal piece of shit who liked doing war in the Middle East. So in some respects, he is like Churchill. Shame he's not also, you know, finally like Churchill. But again, as previously discussed, the grim embrace of the Reaper awaits us all. Right. And it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how much you suck up to him. Like, there's no point dick riding Trump, because A, he doesn't respect it, and B, it doesn't matter how much you do it. You can literally scrabble at his feet to pick up his fucking papers for him in front of the world's press, and he'll still absolutely mug you off. He'll still absolutely fucking rinse you, because he's a prick. There's no point doing it. Absolutely mental shit. Anyway, right. So, yeah. In case, just, I mean, there's only really one sort of little story I wanted to go with before we get to PMQs, I suppose. And it's not even necessarily that important a story, but I just like the clown show that is this government, and not just that, but the Labour Party.
I can't give a duck donated $5 for Switzerland. Sarcasm.
Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck me. That, that is, you played with fire, but you won. It's close. It's very close to being over the line, but it isn't. You danced with the devil. No, is that the right phrase? I don't know. Anyway, you were on thin ice, but you managed to make it across. Fucking Christ! Just poured my fucking heart out. Sorry, that was spicy. That was spicy. Do we have an appropriate one for that? Fuck it.
Throbbing.
That'll do. Oh, anyway, thank you for the donation. I'll get to it in a second. Yes, the clown car that is this government, and more sort of broadly the Labour Party in general. They've obviously had multiple pedophile scandals in recent times. They've had obviously corruption scandals involving money and gifts and tickets to this event and that event and so on and so forth. Talk of, pairs of spectacles and wife's dresses and all sorts of things. And this one goes under the radar a little bit because obviously the whole news is about Iran. There's a war. It's probably going to spill over into multiple... Well, it already is spilling over into multiple places. We've had literally American service personnel deaths and British bases have been attacked and all this sort of stuff. But let us not forget the other stories that... Oh, well, firstly, Israel does have nuclear weapons. We'll come back to that. Hang on, where is it? Where's the text? I don't seem to have a text. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Sorry, right. Boom. We don't need that on the screen right this very second. But we'll get back to it, I'm sure. Right. So, the partner of a Labour MP has been arrested for potentially on the suspicion of having worked as a Chinese spy. Like, the fucking absolute state of them. The clown car that is the Labour Party with bits just falling off it. He looks like impressed Tugendhat. He really does. Unbelievable. So, right. But what I especially love about this story... So, all three men who have not been named by police remain in custody. Lol. Searches were carried out of properties in London, Cardiff and East Kilbride on Wednesday. For the geographically challenged, London is in England, Cardiff is in Wales and East Kilbride is in Scotland. So, the Chinese government appear to have a much more fundamental understanding of spreading wealth across the nations of the British Isles than the British government do. Honestly, if Westminster took the same approach to, decentralising the way in which it does its, giving jobs out to the regions and investment in the regions, maybe the Scots and Welsh wouldn't want to leave. No Barnett formula from old Comrade Xi. He's got spies everywhere. Oh... This is such a dumb story. Oh my god. Oh. But there we go. And being that she's a Scottish Labour MP, she will be losing her seat in the next election, regardless of the fact who the person dicking her down, as it were, was working for. Who'da thunk her? Anyway. Oh yeah, I was just, this was another, completely unrelated to Prime Minister's questions, but I think I found the most autistic human being ever.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade. And the papers want to know whose shirts you wear.
I need someone from the UK to adopt me for approximately 3 days.
No.
Oh. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, anyway. Sorry. I do serious political analysis. Anyway, talking of knobs, the House of Commons.
Order, before I come to Prime Minister's questions, and in light of recent exchanges in the Chamber, I'd like to remind members of the need for good temper and moderation in the language that they use in this Chamber. As Speaker, I am not responsible for the specific questions.
Hang on, we're going to have that again. The most Lancashire use of the word specific ever there.
Speaker, I am not responsible for the specific...
Specific. What the fuck? Okay.
questions asked by individual members or for the answer given by ministers. So I encourage all members to engage in respectful debate as our constituents would expect. We now come to Prime Minister's questions. Josh Fenton Glynn.
Oh my god, that's the name of a Labour MP, is it? That's fucking grim. Yeah. Also, that's in response to Kemi Badenoch's shit from last week about saying that they were the pedo party or whatever. Because naturally, he got criticised as Speaker of the House of Commons for not upholding parliamentary use of language, which he is supposed to do. That is his job, or at least one of his jobs. You can't go around calling people like horrific names and things, ideally, unless you're making a very specific legal accusation or something like that. Yeah, but he is the worst speaker ever. Like, at least Martin, he was shit in a kind of like he didn't give a fuck way. Like he didn't know anyone's name. He didn't really know the rules, but he was just sort of there, you know. But that was shit. But like, this guy's like actively bad in general. But what about if they are actual stool pigeons? Well, this is the point. If you want to claim that somebody is working on a stool pigeon, by the way, is an old name for like essentially a spy, right? Someone doing undercover espionage stuff. So if you want to accuse somebody of being a spy, you can do that. You would have to, I think, provide some significant credible evidence for that claim, but you are allowed to do that. And of course, making that claim in the House of Commons would also mean you are immune, legally speaking, from any action that person would want to take, because it is not actionable in a court of law. You can say anything in Commons, and you won't get punished for it. At least in theory. Once Farage takes over and they just roll the fucking the Gestapo into the chamber when someone disagrees with him, I don't know. But for the time being, cool.
Number one, please, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Well, he wants the Prime Minister to take a piss. Right there. That would be bold.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The situation in the Middle East remains serious and volatile. This government will be resolute in our focus, protecting British lives, bringing our people home, and safeguarding our national interest. Mr. Speaker, today my thoughts are with the family and friends of Sarah Everard on this very painful anniversary. 5 years ago,
that would be the person who was raped and murdered by a police officer. A person they knew who was already misogynistic and sexually aggressive. Yeah. And then, of course, when they held a candlelit vigil in a park in London to try and honour the victim's memory, the police waded in and arrested loads of people. Because PR isn't really their best. They're not very good at it. They don't understand the rancid vibes, let alone the legal implications. Because the police don't care about the law when it comes to themselves.
I said her death had to be a turning point, and this government is committed.
And it wasn't. It wasn't a fucking changing point. We know it wasn't.
halving violence against women and girls. We are acting in our schools, our police forces, online and offline, to keep women and girls safe, to prevent boys and men becoming abusers, and supporting victims to get justice and closure.
You sent a yum-yum friend of a pedophile to be our ambassador to Washington, D.C. Wind your neck in love.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to echo the Prime Minister's comments on Sarah Everard and the situation in the Middle East. From the sound mixing desks made by Calrec in Hebden Bridge, which brought the world its Winter Olympics coverage, to the valves made by Blackhole Engineering in Brighouse, which bring water to New York City, Calder Valley's specialist manufacturing is recognised the world over. It brings good jobs and sustainable work. But with 1/3 of engineers over 60, the last government left our manufacturing workforce facing an existential crisis. Will the Prime Minister please work with me to make sure that the new Growth and Skills Levy will support good quality manufacturing jobs in Calder Valley and across the country?
Well, my honourable friend is right to champion brilliant manufacturers. Our modern industrial strategy is driving up standards, investment, jobs and growth. And our Growth and Skills Levy ensures we have the skills we need, supporting more short courses in critical sectors, including engineering. We're investing over £700 million to support thousands more young people into apprenticeships, in stark contrast to the 40% fall in apprenticeships starts under the party opposite.
Kevin Baird, not the Leader of the Opposition.
Who? Who are ya? Who are ya?
Mr. Speaker, can I pay tribute to our brave servicemen and women in the Middle East during this very difficult period?
Can I not? I'm just going to say, can I say, fuck 'em? You signed up to be a part of an imperialist army. What the fuck did you expect? Like, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily want them to die. I don't want any of these people to fucking die. That's the whole point. I'm against war because people dying is fucked up. Those 4 Americans who got fucking murked, I don't want them to fucking die. I don't want them to be in the Middle East. They should be in fucking Kentucky, fucking, I don't know, digging something up or fucking making something. Just existing. These people should be in school or in a fucking workplace. They shouldn't be fighting a war for fucking Israel. God almighty. Someone sent me this on the thing. Alright, this might sound, I don't know, controversial. I hope people understand where this is coming from. But Israel is the most fucking artless society in the history of the world. Watch this AI slop shite. Watch this.
סוף סוף יהיה אפשר לחיות סוף סוף יהיה אפשר לנשום
Don't know what the fuck this bit is saying. Who cares?
בין טראמפ לביבי סידר לנו את החלום איראן is free, ישראל is free כולם שומעים את שגת הארי איראן is free, ישראל is free כולם שומעים את שגת הארי
This is how I know that Israel doesn't represent the Jewish people. In fact, it's sort of the opposite of Jewish people, really. Some of the greatest artists who have ever existed have been Jewish. Some of the greatest singers, songwriters, musicians, painters, screenwriters, comedians. These people are some of the greatest ones in any field of artistic creation you can think of have been Jewish. And yet Israel creates nothing. Nothing of worth, nothing of value, nothing of interest. Nothing. Because fundamentally, like all nationalisms, it boils a great people down to one tiny definition of what that means to be that thing, and stifles creativity. You're not allowed to be anything other than the thing that Benjamin Netanyahu needs you to be. And that's not creative, that's not worthwhile, that's not spiritually enlightened, it's not clever, it's nothing. It's just a drone for Zionism. That's all you're meant to be. They're a succubus upon Jewish culture. They are, essentially, they claim to be the Jewish state, they're not. They are imperialist clopping on Jewish culture. That's all it is. It's a fucking disgrace. Quite literally.
It's a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, nothing racist going on here, just lions killing black men, obviously.
Our bases in Cyprus and Bahrain have now been attacked.
Why do we have bases in Cyprus and Bahrain? If the British Army is to protect my freedom, as I'm so regularly told by people, how did my freedom get to Bahrain? Or Cyprus, for that matter. Interesting.
The US has
Sometimes
taken
maybe good,
offensive
sometimes
action
maybe shit.
to destroy missile launch sites to defend British territory. Why will the Prime Minister not allow the RAF to do the same?
So why aren't we doing more war as opposed to just the bit of war we're currently doing? No, I can't give a duck. That's absolutely fine, by the way. Thank you for the donation. That's fine. Trust me, I'm very much a gallows humour bitch myself. Thank you, Wendy, for becoming a member on the YouTubes. And thank you too. What else happened? Poe Thoreau, a combination of two great writers, for becoming a member on the YouTube as well. Happy Racist White History Month, everyone. Indeed, yeah, Christy and I are going to have to do something for that this year. We forgot last year. For those who don't know, we like to do a thing called Racist White History Month. You know, February's Black History Month. So we spend the following month, the March, you know, all these white people who moan, why isn't there a White People History Month? And that's what Christy and I like to do. As two whiteoids, we like to, you know, expose for the world to see white history. You know, all the racist shit white people did. I presume the people moaning about that, that's exactly what they mean, right? They mean, tell us the history of white people, warts and all, not just the nice fuzzy bits.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I make clear this is obviously an extremely serious situation, and I know the whole country is worried about the potential for escalation. Right. They're worried about.
Well, specifically, the lion with the wings on it is the Iranian, the old Iranian flag, the Shah flag. Yeah, that's true. Which is why it was in the video. Yeah, it's symbolism. Yeah. Even though I'm told that they want democracy in Iran.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
That is true. Democracy is sometimes that way, Gennaro. But yeah, no, we're told that they're fighting to get a democratic government in Iran by people who are celebrating the Shah. Naturally. Thank you to Carl Brown for gifting 2 memberships individually. Much love to you, Carl. If you ever need a place to like lie low while the police are looking for you.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
The impact on their lives, particularly when they see what's happening with energy. The family and friends of those who are caught in the region will be worried sick about them. And of course we've got civilians and military personnel at risk in the region. We need to act, therefore, with clarity, with purpose, and with a cool head. The protection of UK nationals is our #1 priority.
Honestly, I couldn't give 2 fucks about protecting tax exile cunts in Dubai. You didn't want to pay tax to the British state, why are we chartering planes to bring you back? No, enjoy it. See how well the fucking government of Dubai take care of you cunts. I'm guessing that top marginal rate of tax doesn't seem quite so burdensome anymore, does it?
And we're taking action to reduce the threat, with planes in the sky in the region, intercepting incoming strikes, deploying more capability to Cyprus, and allowing US planes to use UK bases to take out Iran's capability to strike. What I was not prepared to do on Saturday was for the UK to join a war unless I was...
We've already joined the fucking war. What are you talking about? The thing you just outlined is us being in a war. Us being allies of America and Israel is us being in the war.
Satisfied there was a lawful basis and a viable thought-through plan. That remains my position.
That wasn't the question I asked him. Nobody wants to see an escalation. The fact is...
Yes, you fucking do. You want to nuke Tehran. Fuck off.
Yes. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, our bases, in case they don't realise, our bases have...
Yeah, I don't understand the fucking webcomic 255. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Already...
I know it's Barack Obama, but what's the message of it? I don't know.
...been attacked. Iran is trying to kill our servicemen and women. He is...
Oh, apparently Iran does not have a right to defend herself. I'm being told. Okay.
Catching arrows rather than stopping the archer. That's what we're talking about. Why is he asking our allies to do what we should be doing ourselves? We are, I would say to Labour MPs, we are in this war whether they like it or not. What is the Prime Minister waiting for?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, let me give a little more detail, because for a number of weeks now we've been pre-deploying our capabilities to the region.
Oh, so we've been preparing for a war that we already knew was going to happen because we're involved in that war. Do you see how you're full of shit, Kia?
In doing so, we've been liaising very closely with the United States, as the House would have expected. Therefore, radar systems were pre-deployed. Ground-based air defence was pre-deployed, counter-drone systems were pre-deployed, and F-35 jets were pre-deployed. Mr. Speaker, that is why, since Saturday morning, multiple F-35s and Typhoons have been in operation not just in the Middle East, but across Cyprus. Further missions were flown overnight, Typhoons defending in particular Qatar, and F-35s defending other regional parties. We're resupplying our air defence missiles today. Wildcat helicopters with anti-drone capabilities will be in Cyprus this week, and HMS Dragon will be deployed to the Mediterranean. And of course, in agreement...
HMS Dragon, named by a 7-year-old, apparently.
...with the ES, they're using our bases to conduct the operations to strike Iranian missiles and launchers.
So we're in the war then. You see, you've made British air bases a legitimate target because they're the ones that are being used to launch planes into the air that are bombing Iran. You see, so we are in the war. We're just the most pathetically in the war because we're in the war but we're not ourselves fighting back. So you've made us a target without the ability to do anything about being a target. Like, there's cuckoldery and then there's whatever super fucking gamma hep fucking cuckoldery this is. I don't even know what it is. Nuclear powered super fucking cocks. I don't know what this is. It's pathetic.
Very, 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 very cringe. Very, very, very cringe.
Mr. Speaker, that is the action that we are taking. That is the agreement that we've reached with the United States to protect our nationals.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has read out a long list. It is not enough. He says that we are pre-deploying. The one ship which we are sending, HMS Dragon, is still in Portsmouth. The fact is the Type 45s cannot take out incoming missiles. This is not enough. He's read out a long list. The people who understand know it is not enough. He should be doing more. Yesterday, the Chancellor could have given more money to defence. Instead, I don't know why they're laughing. I don't know why that's funny.
It is quite funny. You know what's not funny though? Dingus Van Sant and this beetle-related monstrosity. How many fingers am I holding up? It's a whole fist. This definitely breaks the Geneva Conventions. This is a war crime.
You just assaulted me.
Yes, not funny. Yesterday, the Chancellor could have given more money to defence. Instead, she gave more money for welfare.
Oh no, she could have given more money to BAE Systems and fucking Boeing. Or is that the same thing? Might be the same thing. I don't even fucking know anymore. Or fucking Raytheon. But instead she gave it to the most vulnerable people here in Britain. What a fucking communist.
Priorities are all wrong, Mr. Speaker. Their priorities are all wrong. They can chanter as much as they like. The fact of the matter is that the war in Iran is happening now.
Order. Mr. Bailey, I don't like that. I don't think it becomes you either. An officer and a gentleman, I expect more. Come to bed, Don.
The fact of the matter, Mr. Speaker, is that the war...
I can lip read as well.
Oh, no, go back. We've got an amazing beard. It's in the distance, so I'm going to have to, like, blow it up a bit, but look at the ginger beard on this man. It's fucking beautiful. Oh, who is he? Get me his number. That's not me. It's a white man with a ginger beard is not just me. It's fucking glorious, though. Look at him. If that man is not Scottish, then my name is not Kevin, clearly. Look at him. Absolutely glorious.
Matter, Mr. Speaker, is that the war...
I can lip read as well. So please, let's learn something. If not, you'll learn the way out. Come to bed.
Mr. Speaker, the country is not going to be distracted by Labour MPs moaning. The fact of the matter is that the war in Iran is happening now. But the OBR say the government won't hit 3% on defence for 5 years. The war is happening now. There is no urgency from the Prime Minister. Why is he...
Again, just point out the difference between the way in which if they try and spend tuppence on anything else, then it's going to crash the economy, and it's a terrible thing, and you're just... It's communism or something. Hang on a minute. You get the idea. Whereas when it comes to defence spending, and we should stop calling it defence spending, it's war spending. We're not defending Britain in the slightest. When was the last time we defended Britain with the armed forces? 1945, perhaps? That's about it, I think. We don't fucking defend anything. We attack. We kill people. We bomb them. We bomb them back to the Stone Age. We bomb them back to having fucking slave markets. It's not defence spending. When we do war spending, these fuckers are all for it. We're not spending enough on war. We should be spending 1 trillion times more on war, because war never has to be fucking accounted for. You don't need an OBR official spending fucking review for war. War is a bottomless pit. We can just spend whatever we like. You can even do fiscal Keynesianism, or dress it up as such. When it comes to fucking war. How about a bit of fiscal Keynesianism when it comes to building some fucking houses? Or repairing schools that are crumbling? Or hospitals where you can't have heavy equipment on the second floor because the fucking ceilings will cave in?
leaving the job of funding our armed forces to the next government.
Prime Minister.
I'm not going to take lectures on defence from the party opposite. They came into office, and what did they do?
Would you call the Falklands defending Britain? No. To be fair, it was defending British citizens. That is certainly true. They are. They've got passports and everything. But it's not land that should be Britain's. Look where it is. It's 1 billion miles from Britain. It's not contiguous in any possible fucking description of that word. So it's not defending Britain. It was defending Margaret Thatcher from losing the 1982 general election. Or 1983. Or 1984. You get the idea. It was 83 the election, wasn't it? 82 was the war. Anyway. But it was early, so it could have been 84. But it wasn't, it was 83. Have you seen the Channel 4 series Dirty Work? I have, yes. Interesting stuff. If it weren't for copyright, I might have watched it on stream.
Cut the defence budget. They missed army...
Order. Mr Philp, you've moved from there to there. You're even louder here, so I think twice.
Prime Minister. Not only did they...
Hang on. That's a lot. I don't know if people heard that. You have to listen carefully. But one of the Labour MPs called out, he's still useless. Hang on, we'll go back.
There, you're even louder here, so I think twice.
Prime Minister. Not only...
It's true. Chris Philp is still useless. That is true. Undoubtedly.
Did they cut the defence budget? They missed army recruitment targets every year for 14 years. They left morale in our armed forces at an all-time low, and our forces hollowed out. That's the words of...
People keep asking me, what is war good for? Does anyone know? Well, this is the thing. I can't be a pacifist. Because I don't think that is actually a viable moral option. Now, don't get me wrong, I know pacifists, and basically every one of them is a good person. So I'm not besmirching you or saying you're full of shit or you're bad people. Not in the slightest. But I don't think that in a world where bad people do achieve power, it's a morally viable position to just never do war. I mean, the Second World War has its faults, of course, but I don't think we can argue that the defeat of fascism was unnecessary, or that allowing fascism to just take over the entire continent, or indeed world, would have ended up better. As grim as war is, it is sometimes actually necessary. This war in Iran is not remotely necessary, of course. It's a fucking disgrace. It's imperialism in its most naked and raw form. And it's just murdering people. It's slaughter. Simple as that. But to rule out ever doing war under any circumstances, I don't think is viable, either practically or morally. Anyway. Did it really defeat fascism, though? Well, I mean, to be fair, they lost the peace rather than the war. It did defeat fascism in its most direct sense, but the denazification, especially in Western Germany, although Eastern Germany was not perfect either, was abysmal. But yeah, it did defeat fascism in its more, direct governmental form. No, it is. You're wrong. What am I wrong about, Adam? And I'm not trying to be antagonistic or aggressive here. I'm genuinely interested in what you think I'm wrong about.
Ben Wallace, the former Defence Secretary. Labour, by contrast, is delivering the biggest boost to defence spending since the Cold War.
Labour Party. Woo, I'm glad we got the Tories out.
£170 billion over this Parliament.
And you found that money from where exactly?
And we're doing that because we're focused on what matters. And she's right. The war is, of course, happening now. We have to focus on that. Across the country, people are worried about those that are trapped in the region.
Right-wing bollocks.
Mr. Speaker, that is why we're taking action. And I can update the House. That yesterday more than 1,000 British nationals arrived back.
Yeah, okay. I agree, but most of the wars that have been involved in the last 50 years have been totally unnecessary. Yeah, absolutely. The military-industrial complex is fucking awful.
Back in the UK on commercial flights from the UAE. A further 8 flights are due to leave the UAE to the UK today. I can confirm, Mr. Speaker, that the first...
What the fuck? Fuck the bees and go watch LBC, team. It's more left-wing than this. What, than me? Adam, are you being a prick now, mate, or what? Am I misunderstanding what you're doing here? This is how I imagine Kev looking at school. Well, you think I had a fucking full beard at school? No, I did not have a full beard at school. And I didn't look like a man in his late 30s. And I wasn't fat. I was a very skinny kid. Adam is a troll. Okay, I'll ignore them then. Okay, cool.
Charter flight is expected to leave Oman later today, and 2 more will come in the coming days. The country really does want to know this. I'm sorry.
Oh God, you patronising cunt.
Family and friends are worried sick about people who are caught out. I will not be put on.
God, he's such an insufferable cunt. He's such an insufferable cunt. Like, there's nothing worse than Keir Starmer when he thinks he has the moral high ground. Because, like, he's one of the dirtiest politicians who's ever gotten to that position. We all know that. It's exactly... That's who he is. It's a defining characteristic of his premiership, is the just corruption from start to finish. And yet, when he thinks he has the moral high ground, on the odd occasion where he can get to play the I'm Daddy Big Bollocks, aren't I the smoothest, cleanest, most righteous boy in the room, he just becomes this, like, just obnoxiously fucking patronising twat. And I think he thinks that counts as statesmanship. He thinks this makes him look like Churchill, to continue the Trumpian comparison from earlier, right? Like, he genuinely thinks this makes him look like a person of historic note rather than just a weasel. A pathetic, snaky little weasel cockroach vermin boy. Which is exactly what he is.
Announced, Mr. Speaker, we will lay on additional charter flights in coming days. British Airways are now laying on an extra flight from...
Oh yeah, he didn't welcome the new Green MP. What a fucking shithouse. Yeah.
From Oman.
I totally missed that, yeah, he didn't. They're supposed to. When I say supposed to, it's like there's no rule that says you have to, but like, it's common courtesy. If there is a new member been elected to the chamber, you welcome them. Except, of course, that would be to highlight the fact that he just lost the seat that Labour haven't lost since 1935.
And the Foreign Secretary will have further discussions today. And can I urge all those in the House who have constituents who are caught in this to make sure that they do register their presence so we can do whatever we can to help them get home safely.
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't asking about evacuations. I was asking about defence spending. He needs to focus on the question he's being asked, not the statement that was prepared in the bunker. He stands there.
To be fair, Churchill wasn't electorally that successful. There were others who were better at that. Like, Churchill is seen as daddy big bollocks now, but like, people forget, before the Second World War, he was not a liked person. Honestly, the PR job that war did for him, and indeed his telling of that history, is just remarkable. Because you would think, oh, he's always been a hero. He's always had statues of him and fucking, rooms in Parliament named after him and fucking all sorts of shit. Everyone fucking hated him. He was a shithouse. He was the fucking idiot who did Gallipoli, the slaughter of mostly Australian but also British and Kiwi forces in Turkey during the First World War. An absolute disaster, totally on him. As Chancellor of the Exchequer, he put us back on the gold standard, destroyed the economy overnight, just in time for the world downturn. So thanks for that, Winnie Poos. Was sacked from the cabinet for his many and varied crises, flip-flopped between the Conservatives, the Liberal Party, and then back to the Conservatives again. And at the start of the war, was hated by most of his party and was a backbencher. A very prominent backbencher, a very famous backbencher, but he wasn't in the government. When he was put forward as a potential replacement for Neville Chamberlain in 1940, the King twice wanted to have Lord Halifax become the Prime Minister. He had to be fucking forced to offer the job to Winston Churchill. No one wanted him. He was a fucking chaos catastrophe. A drunkard with significant mental health problems, which again shouldn't bar you from that plaque, but these were less woke times, shall we say. He was seen as a psychopath and a drunkard and a military fucking disaster. And yet he was the only motherfucker constantly saying, we should really take care of this fucking Hitler lad. He seems like a bit of a wrong'un. Literally, when everyone was singing Neville Chamberlain's praises after Munich, he literally made a speech during which he had to stop halfway through because he was being booed, including by Conservative MPs, when he used the famous phrase, we have suffered a complete and unmitigated defeat. And he was correct. And he kept being correct. I've said it before, and it's disgusting to have to admit, but practically speaking, he's one of the most effective anti-fascists who ever lived. That's not to say he didn't also do genocide in India, and do imperialism all around the world. An awful human being. Fucking tragically awful. And yet without him at the heart of the British government, the Second World War would have ended up very, very differently, I feel. Such is life. Such is life. Imagine in 50 years if Liz Truss is considered the greatest Briton. Well, she did kill the Queen, so like, she should make the podium. So it should go like, Lettuce, Churchill, Truss. Greatest Conservative Prime Ministers of the age.
He stands there telling us that he's spending more money on defence. They're saying it. No, he isn't. In fact, they are cutting defence spending by £2.6 billion from the MOD budget this year. And that's why there are no Royal Navy warships in the Middle East, Mr. Speaker. In June last year, he should ask his defence secretary.
The USA didn't save us. The USA, and more precisely, the USSR saved us. It wasn't 27 million American lives that were lost defeating fascism. I'm not saying all of those Studebakers sent to Russia weren't massively important, because they absolutely were. And all of the food that stopped them from starving, definitely important. But I think the wave after wave after wave of Soviet bodies crashing against the fascist beast might have been more important. Again, fantastic statistic. Pavlov's house, nothing to do with Pavlov's dog, different Pavlov. Lieutenant, I believe he was, or Lieutenant if you're American, Lieutenant Pavlov of the Red Army. He was in command of a unit that occupied a house in the city that was Stalingrad at the time. Is now Volgograd because de-Stalinisation, etc. And yet, the Nazis lost more lives trying to take that one house in Stalingrad unsuccessfully than there were Germans lost taking Paris. You know, the big city, the massive city, the capital of France. Yeah, the Soviets really put on a fucking shift for us, for all of humanity on that one. Sergeant Pavlov, apologies. Anyway. Well, it doesn't matter how long he was in the fucking house. It's called Pavlov's house because he was Pavlov. Doesn't matter how... He could have been in there fucking 2 seconds. It's named after the fucking dude. Dickheads. Pavlov's Gavlov. Do I have a boo? I don't have a boo, do I? That's the closest we got. Because France surrendered. Well, no. By the time of the taking of Paris, France hadn't surrendered. France wouldn't surrender for another week until Paris fell. They set up a temporary capital in, was it Lyon or Marseille? I can't remember. One of the French cities in the south. The French government fought on for another week or whatever it was. So technically, Paris should have been defended. It wasn't really. They did enough fighting to try and make it seem like they, to retain honour. But doing the bare minimum. Literally the bare minimum to make it look like you put up a fight. And then go, fuck it lads. Because they were going to lose, so,
For the numbers, because that is what's happening. In June last year, Mr. Speaker, the government promised that its plan for funding our armed forces would be ready by autumn. In autumn, they promised it would be ready by the end of 2025. It is March 2026, and still nothing. So can the Prime Minister...
What is this? Question. I once saw a BBC documentary that was actually somewhat critical of Churchill for once. One of the historians they interviewed said people in the mid-1930s would have viewed him the same way people viewed Nigel Farage in the mid-2010s. Would you agree with that? I would argue he was much more maligned. He was much more maligned in the 30s than, let's say, the mid to late 30s. By the time of the Second World War, people had begun. By 1939, people realised, oh, he might have been right about that. So it started to turn. But ultimately... yeah, he was fucking hated by huge parts of the country. Lefties had always hated him, of course, because he was a fucking right-wing piece of shit. He sent fucking soldiers into the town of Tonopandi to potentially fire upon miners. They wouldn't do it, but he wanted them to do it. He said they should be prepared to do that, and they weren't, thankfully. So the left had always hated him. And the right didn't like the fact that Gallipoli was a disaster. And by the way, he was a bad war leader. Not a bad leader in a war. He was bad at military stuff. He was a dilettante, an idiot. If you look at Gallipoli, or if you look at the soft underbelly, the invasion of Italy, which was his idea and was a fucking disaster, or at least did not go well, because Italy's mostly mountains. I don't know if you know that. And not just in the north. The Apennine Mountains run all the way down the spine of it. It's a fucking nightmare to take. Anyway. And was an economic fucking loser as well. He'd been given plenty of opportunities during peacetime to make a go at being a government minister and had fucked up at every turn. Farage has a base of support in the country. I would argue Farage was viewed more positively in the 2010s than Churchill was in the early to mid-30s. 100%. Yeah, Alan Brooke, good name, yeah. later would become Field Marshal Sir Alan Brooke. Yeah. Yeah, Churchill had some wacky ideas. Most of them were shit. And there's a certain Trumpian element to him when you read about him. That, like, the people around him would try and, like, keep him occupied with nothing. Like, just keep him away from the really serious decisions, just get him to make a speech or something. Just try and keep Churchill busy doing something over there, away from, like, the maps and stuff. Because he was bit of a shithouse, you know. He was obsessed with trying to take the Balkans. He was obsessed with it. He wanted to take the Balkans and Trieste and stuff. And they were like, well, why? The Russians are going to get there tomorrow. What the fuck are you doing?
Tell the House when his defence investment plan will finally be published.
Prime Minister.
Well, I'm sorry she's not interested in how people caught in the region are going to get home.
When was the last time the Tory was good with the economy? Gordon Brown? That is a burn.
I think for the vast majority of people watching this PMQs, that'll be the single most important thing on their mind. They cut defence spending, we're increasing defence spending, and we're doing that, Mr. Speaker.
Well, thanks. You've been outflanked to the left by the David Cameron government. Bravo.
Because we've stabilised the economy. Yesterday, the Chancellor announced inflation was down, interest rates down, borrowing down, debt down.
Oh, stop doing the chanting thing. It's fucking cringe. Absolute fuck off. What's this? Breaking. Qatar is set to fully shut natural gas liquefaction tomorrow, two sources say. Restarting natural gas liquefaction after a complete shutdown would take 2 weeks. Once restarted, Qatar would need at least another 2 weeks to reach full capacity. Qatar is the second largest LNG exporter in the world. Why are they closing it down? Why are they closing it down? I don't know. Yeah, we're fucked though. Oh, it's been bombed. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so we're fucked. Well, I did warn everybody. Iran was not Iraq. Iraq was essentially a broken country. It was not going to be militarily difficult to take Iraq. It's going to be difficult to pacify it and all the rest of it, as indeed is always the case with imperialism. People don't like being occupied. It's a universal truth. You'd think imperialists would know this by now, but they don't seem to give a fuck, because it's very profitable. Anyway, Iran is going to be very difficult to take, not just geographically, but in terms, not just topographically, but geographically, because the Straits of Hormuz are very, very tight, and like a quarter of the world's fucking oil goes through it, and liquid natural gas, and so on and so forth. So if you fuck with Iran, Iran can fuck with you. It's not going to be able to, like, nuke Washington, D.C. or anything like that. It doesn't need to. It can nuke the fucking price of your gasoline. It can nuke the possibility of you, I don't know, heating your home in the middle of winter. We're potentially, if they carry on with this shit, in for an economic version of the Vietnam War. This isn't just going to be a bloody nose for America. This is going to be an epoch-defining fuck-up. Which kills tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Iranians into the bargain. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Art of the deal.
Investment, living standards, growth, up. Now, I know the Leader of the Opposition doesn't understand.
Number of pedo scandals, up. My polling rating, down. Labour's chances of winning the next election, down.
And that, the shadow...
Number of Arsenal tickets I've got for free, up.
The Chancellor clearly doesn't understand that. Although I do have to thank him that in what's been a very difficult week, he provided some excellent unintended stand-up comedy in his response to the Chancellor yesterday.
Can we vote no?
Mr. Speaker.
The Ra. Up, said Nigel Farage.
He doesn't want to talk about the Defence Investment Plan because he doesn't know. He doesn't know what
number of royals down. My favourite syndrome. I don't have a boo, so I'll just do this one. Mandelson's pants. Fucking hell.
What is going on any policy, so he reads statements that are pre-prepared irrespective of the question, and the whole country can see it. The truth is that because they spent money on welfare, there is no defence investment plan. Because there is no defence investment plan, they are not ordering enough missiles. The fact is that this crisis goes beyond defence spending. They can chant as much as they like. They are pathetic, spending money on welfare instead of defence spending.
Wow, spending money. Oh, firstly, Jenny. The Right Honourable Jenny in attendance. Ka-choom. Yeah, imagine that, spending money on the most vulnerable people in society rather than giving it to fucking CEOs of arms manufacturers and such. Crazy. The Conservatives have learned nothing. They've learned nothing and will be destroyed. Also, noticed our little green lady, Hannah Spencer. We stand. Oh, pardon me.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. They're not just pathetic, they are also weak.
Yeah. Interesting that that's not unparliamentary language to call someone pathetic. That's allowed, apparently. Cool. It's amazing what you can get away with when you're a Tory.
This crisis goes beyond defence spending. It is also about the cost of living. This war is interrupting the supply of oil and gas. That is driving up the cost of petrol and making it more expensive to heat our homes. Yet he is stopping drilling in the North Sea while importing the same oil and gas from Norway. Does he think that at a time of geopolitical crisis, it makes sense to kill our oil and gas industry and give up that ready supply of energy?
We don't use it for energy. We sell it on the fucking international market. It doesn't get used here.
Well, the question of the energy supply right now is a serious question, and we are doing all we can with allies to make sure that that is preserved. And it's vital that we keep trade flowing through the Straits of Hormuz, Mr. Speaker. The Energy Secretary met the International Energy Agency yesterday, and the Chancellor is meeting oil and gas companies today. We're keeping in close contact with our allies and key industry players. Again, I think the country wants to know what we're doing now in relation to what's happening in coming days. Mr. Speaker, oil and gas will be part of our energy mix for many years to come. But if Ukraine and the last few days have taught us anything, it is that all the time we're on the international market, we are vulnerable to these changes. That is why renewable energy...
Many saddlebags, or whatever his name is, mean by our energy. Much of that oil is in England's waters.
Question mark. Yes. Indeed. Well, Scotland is one of the few colonies that England still has. So when they say ours, they mean we get to have all of that. And then as soon as that oil goes, you watch how quickly they turn around and let Scotland become independent. Because that's imperialism. You use it up until it's not useful. And then you discard it.
Where we have our independence and security would take us off those markets and give us the security that we need.
Speaker, the Prime Minister again does not understand the energy transition. You do not need to stop drilling in oil and gas to get renewables. This is basic stuff. He doesn't understand his policy. He's got a sea of orcs and goons who have no idea.
Orcs and goons. That's allowed. That's parliamentary language. Cool.
How anything is working at all. Mr. Speaker. They can complain all they like, Mr. Speaker. The fact is, they are letting down the people out.
Order. You can't do a point of order in the middle of Prime Minister's question.
Why not?
Mr. Speaker.
Ask my question.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
And I'm beginning to think democracy is a mistake.
You don't listen to the questions anyway.
Mr. Speaker, the situation...
Did you hear how posh that voice was?
You don't listen to those questions anyway.
Mr. Speaker...
You don't listen to the questions anyway.
Mr. Speaker...
You don't listen to the questions anyway. That voice is so posh it married its own fucking sister to become King of Denmark in 1964.
The situation in Iran shows this Prime Minister has the wrong priorities. When it comes to defense, it's someone else's job. When it comes to welfare, they find the money. When our bases are attacked, they call the lawyers. When our energy security is under threat, they stop drilling in the...
No, it wasn't James Cleverly.
North Sea.
It was someone on the front bench, I think.
Mr. Speaker, the truth is, or in fact, Mr. Speaker, after last week's by-election, isn't the truth that he is...
Where you lost your deposit? Didn't even get 2%? Jokage.
Isn't the truth...
By the way, massive dubs for the Greens.
Epic dub.
They might not like to hear it, but they are going to hear it, Mr. Speaker, whether they like it or not. Is it not the truth that he is prioritising his job security over our national security?
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I spent the week protecting British lives and our national interest. And Mr. Speaker, moments like this define a leader of the opposition. They can either step up, act in the national interest and show that they're fit to be Prime Minister, or they can expose their utter irrelevance. She has chosen the second.
Didn't want to mention the by-election, did I?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Prime Minister for his leadership and his cool head on the situation in Iran?
Fucking kill me. This is a Labour MP, is it? This is the Social Democratic Party, is it? Get ready for some more by-election defeats, dickheads!
Prime Minister, the leasehold system is legalised extortion. Yeah. Last week, I met with dozens of my constituents, their leaseholders and their tenants' residents associations. They're all telling me the same story. Every single month, they're paying hundreds of pounds while their service charges keep skyrocketing. They're trapped between bad managing agents and a system that is broken. Can the Prime Minister tell me what this Labour government is doing to right this wrong once and for all?
Yeah. Prime Minister. Well, I know my honourable friend has been fighting for her constituents and holding management companies to account. Our reform bill will...
Our reform bill? You're not going to end leaseholding, you're just going to adapt it, we know. Is this a vocal warm-up before it starts singing? Is this the dog equivalent of me 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 moo 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 fee 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 fa fa fa
fa? End the broken, outdated leasehold system and make the dream of home ownership real. Mr. Speaker, we're capping ground rents, delivering transparency on service charges and scrapping the presumption that leaseholders pay landlords legal costs. Our focus is on saving people money and giving them more control of their home and creating a fairer housing system.
Sir Ed Davey, Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks on Sarah Everard and the need to do far more to tackle violence against women and girls? And can I also associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks on Iran, as we rightly debate how to make tax exiles pay their fair share? It is absolutely right that the government does everything it can to get all British citizens to safety. Mr. Speaker.
Did you all take that note? And that exact same stance when it came to, I don't know, Shamima Begum. Do you remember Shamima Begum? A young girl who was groomed into becoming an ISIS bride and went to live with her groomer partner and had several children with him via, obviously, the groomed rape of a child herself. And then when she eventually managed to escape that particular arrangement and tried to come back to Britain, she was denied entry and had her citizenship revoked from her. And I believe currently is still just in limbo, a stateless pirate of sorts in a concentration camp, basically. So, you know, interesting how some people, white, their citizenship rights need to be observed scrupulously, whereas the brown ones don't. I see you, Ed Davey.
Experts are warning that families could see their energy bills rise by £500 a year as a result of Trump's illegal war. But millions of families and pensioners are already struggling to keep their heads above water thanks to years of a cost of living crisis. When Putin invaded Ukraine,
a cost of living crisis partly brought about by a government you were in, Edward.
He and I campaigned for months to get the Conservatives to act on energy bills. What? This time...
Well, it shouldn't be legal for them to do that, but that is precisely what they've done.
Will the Prime Minister save families that anxiety and give a cast iron guarantee today that he will not let energy bills rise by £500 this year?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this, because I know this will be a concern to the public who are watching what's going on and very concerned about the impact it will have on their lives. It is important that I emphasise the actions we've been taken urgently this week with our allies, with the energy agencies across the world, and the work we're doing to make sure there's safe passage for energy across the world. We will continue to do that. I was glad that we were able to bring energy price bills down by £150. And
I have a bad mind. When he said safe passage, for some reason my mind went back to the meme of Jeremy Beadle and me, thinking, my passage isn't safe when Beadle's around. Do I have one for that?
It stimulates the part of the brain called Shatner's bassoon.
It does.
Announced just the other day. We will keep a very close eye on this. I do know how important it is for the British public.
Sir Ed Davey.
Well, I thank the Prime Minister for his reply, but I hope he will act if energy bills do go up by £500. Mr. Speaker, Donald Trump's war on Iran has not only brought more chaos across the Middle East, it's increased the threat to our national security here at home. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has previously plotted several failed terrorist attacks in the UK, targeting Iranian journalists, British Jews, and members of this House. Now they are more desperate and dangerous than ever. We've called for the IRGC to be prescribed as terrorists for years.
Are you sure about that?
The last government failed to do it, and so has his. So will the Prime Minister table emergency legislation to better protect our country from Iranian terrorists? Will he do it this week?
Prime Minister.
Can I...
talking about Britain being protected from the Muslamoids, you know, remember how a few months ago they all went to bat, all of these fucking Zionist shill cunts went to bat for the thug pro-rapist fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv, the Israeli football team, when they were supposed to be playing a certain team, I won't mention them, they're scum, here in the UK in a football match, and they were banned by the police because they were an obvious threat to the local community, given that they're always violent and racist and all the rest of it. So I imagine that those same people who were so concerned about foreign football fans being allowed into the country are going to be absolutely up in arms that the fans of Galatasaray, a football club from Istanbul in Turkey, so mostly Muslims, are going to be banned from coming to see their team play in Liverpool in a couple of weeks' time. I presume they're all going to be absolutely up in arms about the anti-Muslim, Islamophobic nature of this ban, and not mentioning the fact that Galatasaray have, you know, a consistent violent fan base, especially towards English fans, bizarrely. I don't quite know why they do, but they do. Whatever. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's. I'm sure they're just going to go and say this is terrible and awful and anti-Turkish bigotry of the worst kind, right? Because they're consistent and they weren't just acting on behalf of the Israeli state like the pathetic little shills they are. Obviously. Well, the reason I know they don't like English people is because you may or may not know that I have been to Istanbul. Lovely town, genuinely beautiful. Lots of cats everywhere, literally fucking everywhere. And I went there back when the Hagia Sophia wasn't a mosque as well, so you could go in there and stuff. It was beautiful. Lots of cats, stray cats, everywhere. Everywhere. It's sort of like heaven in that regard. Anyway. Yes, we attended a football match with one of the group that was with us, who told me, whatever you do, if people ask you where you're from, you say Australia. He said, you used to be able to say America, but then Iraq. So, and they obviously share a border with Iraq, so they're like, But now you just say you're Australian. They won't be able to tell, because the accent, but he said you all sound alike, which is okay. It's nice to know that kind of weird racist mythos exists around the globe. Everyone else just sounds the same or looks the same. They're all the fucking same. Yeah, and he just said, just say you're Australian, because you'll get into a lot of fucking trouble. If they find out there's an Englishman in the stadium, you're in fucking trouble. Yeah. Thankfully no one asked though, but I was very much prepared to say Australian. Yeah. I was going to say Sydney. Fuck it. Like they know. Amazing. Anyway.
Just, again, thank you for raising this. It is very important, I say to the House, that as he would, and the House would expect, we are working 24/7 on dealing with any threats to this country. And I spoke on Monday about the 20 Iran-backed threats that we had successfully dealt with, and we continue to do so, and we're working on it 24/7, so it's important that I say that. In relation to the IRGC, obviously we put in place a number of sanctions already. We don't comment on prescription, but we have made the case that there needs to be legislation.
Really, you don't comment on that, because you commented quite a lot on that when it came to Palestine action.
Sometimes
a
maybe
lot.
good, sometimes maybe shit.
It was Aston Villa right best team in the Midlands.
No, it was some scum outfit. I don't know who you just said. I wasn't listening. Like, all I'll say is, when they played that game, I was hoping an asteroid would hit the fucking stadium. Because, like, I couldn't obviously support Maccabi Tel Aviv. But I wasn't fucking supporting the other team either. So I was just like, you know.
Get the fuck, they came not play me all these mutants.
Still the best fucking raid intro ever. fact. I'm from Birmingham, Australia. There's almost certainly a place called Birmingham in Australia. They used to send criminals there, so obviously Brummies ended up there. Just saying. Thank you, DJ Che. Welcome in. Raiders, everyone go and follow DJ Che immediately. Otherwise I will strike down upon you with furious vengeance, and you will know I am Kev Kev. Thank you, Dr. Phil Decker with Bitty Bits. Lenny Saddlebags is an interesting one for her, but there we go. I'm not even going to say thank you to James. I'm just not. No. Fuck you. Do you ever watch Birmingham City Women, Kev? I do indeed, yes. I got into women's football before it was cool as well. Because, little fact for you, former England international and indeed Birmingham City player, and Chelsea player, and she played in America for a bit. Anyway, whatever. And indeed, champion dancer on the dancing programme on the telly, Karen Carney. She was in my year at school. We weren't very close friends or anything, but we were, you know, she was in my school. And she did ballet dancing at the school my dad was a caretaker, which was a different school, but, you know. Yeah. So there you go. So I was like, oh, I'll go and watch Kaz play for the Blues. So I was watching him like 20 years ago at the old Solihull Moors ground. Anyway.
To deal with state-backed terrorist groups, and we're looking into that.
Sam Richwood. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The surge in the global cost of oil and gas has the risk of pushing up food and energy prices, which is a real concern for my constituents in Bishop Auckland, just as we're turning a corner on the cost of living crisis. Doesn't this show the importance of ignoring the party's offer?
Oh, so that's what they're going to do now. They were going to say, we were turning the corner on the cost of living crisis, and then the Iran war happened, so don't blame us. You weren't turning a corner, you cunt. The fuck are you talking about? Unbelievable.
Opposite, and investing in secure, renewable energy that we control, and backing our farmers to produce the food for our nation, such as those that I'm hosting here today from County Durham, Mr. Speaker. And will the Prime Minister ensure that both energy and food security are a core mission of this Labour government?
It's Helen Holodomor. Who the fuck is that? What? I hope you're not referring to our Helena. Suze Kempner saying this. I disagree, clearly for legal reasons. I disagree. You can tell I disagree because I'm shaking my head vigorously, so you know I definitely disagree with any threats being made against a British citizen. It's good to know that the Dubai government is happy to pay rapists to do agitprop for them, though. Cool. Very normal. Which bit of the Quran is that in? I can't remember.
Well, his energy security is critical to food security, and the sprint to clean energy is the only way to get off the volatile international fossil fuel markets, cut bills and deliver energy security. And Mr. Speaker, since we came into office, over £90 billion of investment into clean energy industry has come in, powering millions of homes. Tories and Reform would throw all that away and cling to the failed policy that put everyone's bills up throughout their reign.
Gavin Robinson.
Mr. Speaker, can I associate myself and my colleagues with the Prime Minister and his remarks?
No, not this fucking Herman Munster cunt. Jesus fucking Christ.
Around Sarah Everard and Iran. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues and I
fucking Abby Normal over here.
Support our armed forces, but we lament how diminished the UK appears over the last week.
No, not TUV, it's DUP. Which is sort of like the TUV, I guess, but not really. They're basically the same people, but are they prepared to be as bigoted? You know?
Amongst our allies and within the Middle East. The Prime Minister is not responsible for our armed forces being able to squeeze into Wembley Park and to Ibrox, but he is responsible for our posture.
To be fair, given that Ibrox is usually filled with violent racists, would you notice any different if they were in Ibrox? Because the British military and Rangers fans are both fascist scumfucks. Not entirely, I understand. But, you know. Suspicious number of Nazis in both groups. Just saying, lads.
He is responsible for ignoring the request to...
Also, belting at the Celtic got a fucking last-minute equaliser. Fucking swivel on it. Boom.
Deploy a Type 45 destroyer 2 weeks ago.
Gave up a fucking 2-0 lead at half-time. Mugs! Fucking orange mugs!
Into the region. And we now learn that HMS Dragon will not leave, hasn't left, and won't be in to defend Cyprus for over a week. Will the Prime Minister understand that I welcome the commitment for increased defence spending, but if we're only planning to get to 2.5% by 2027, it's not enough. Yeah. It needs to be reconsidered. He needs to go faster where others before him did not. And he needs to take these steps not just for protection of our values across the world, but also for the protection of our consumers who are impacted by this conflict today.
Prime Minister. Well, he'd have heard me set out what we did by way of pre-deployment, working in conjunction with and liaising with the US so that he understands the context in which those pre-deployments were put in place, and I think they speak for themselves as to why they were put in place in the places that they were. In relation to defence spend, obviously we're increasing it to 2.6%.
You say that this war is not in defence of our values. I would argue the exact opposite. I think this is perfectly within the values. Not the values we claim to have, not the values we hypocritically posture as having around the world, but the actual values we have. Imperialism, killing brown people, destabilising nations, putting in quote-unquote democratic leaders, stealing oil. These are all very, very firm Western values. Again, not the ones we purport to have, the ones we actually have. Does the red line go up? Is basically the only indicator that matters.
Percent of GDP, that's £270 billion over the Parliament. But as I said in the speech I gave in Munich just a couple of weeks ago, we're going to have to spend more and faster after.
Yeah, British Prime Ministers in Munich tend to do really great things about war, historically, don't they? Cool.
The years of underinvestment and troop cuts, they were the ones that hollowed this out. They were the ones that reduced the size of the army. They were the ones that didn't spend what was necessary on defence. Like everything else they left in such a mess, we're clearing it up. Through our strategic defence review, we'll make Britain safer.
Jonathan Davis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Like the Prime Minister...
Jonathan Davis, the former Welsh rugby union star? No.
I had the transformative benefit of a music education as a young person, although he had his some while before I had mine. After more than a decade of declining music in schools, the government's new National Centre for Arts and Music Education and measures coming through the curriculum review will ensure that more young people benefit from the opportunities that my right honourable friend and I both had. So can he tell us how...
Well, to be fair, Jonathan Davis, he might be the lead singer of Korn, because Keir Starmer does dream about sex all day indeed. With Ukrainian rent boys. Naturally. Also, this hairline is not working, chap. Get rid.
How will the new National Centre make a difference for our young people? And what is the government doing to address funding shortfalls currently facing England's music...
To be fair, Jonathan Davis did also play rugby league. Yes, that is true. And what?
education hubs, including mine in Derbyshire.
He actually loves the back benches, Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, my life was changed by the opportunity to study music, yes, very many years ago. I believe that every child deserves that opportunity. The party opposite cut those opportunities.
I personally, as a person who has had to deal with one of my neighbour's kids taking up the drums in the last couple of years, I personally think children should be banned from any kind of musical expression whatsoever. Honestly, that kid better go on to become the biggest, best drummer that's ever fucking existed. The little cunt. It's okay, he doesn't watch this, it's fine.
That particularly excluded poorer children, and now they call creative arts courses a dead end. I totally disagree. They're the lifeblood of the creative industries that showcase Britain around the world, and the new National Centre will launch this year, and Labour is investing in music hubs. So
he looks, I've just noticed that MP, Jonathan Davis, looks like the guy from The Only Ones. Oh.
Every child has the
same... A niche reference, but if you know, you know.
Same opportunities to enjoy music, to learn music, and to learn the skills that music brings them for life.
Ganga Mahindra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my constituency, the Lib Dem run 3 Wheels district councils failed for years to submit an adequate local plan.
To be fair, the neighbours, they did put like insulation, sound insulation in his drum room in the house, so like you can't even really hear it all that much anymore. But that was after some neighbours made a complaint. So it's a lot better now, it's fine really, but I imagine the next door neighbours still don't like it though.
They now have a ministerial direction, and prime Greenbelt land faces a serious threat from this government's harmful planning policies. How does the Prime Minister expect me to explain to my constituents?
He might just be having a wank. What do you think his fucking cock's got? A top hat? Not a top hat, a high hat. And a bass drum. And cymbals. And a cowbell. He definitely had a cowbell at one point.
That while I consistently defend our Greenbelt, the Lib Dems' incompetence has made it vulnerable to its destruction by this Labour government.
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, this Labour government is...
I have not, virtually not listened to a fucking second of this. This has been fucking awful.
Changing the...
I mean, it is every week, I know, but I keep doing it.
Planning regulations so we can get on and build the homes that we need across our country. Their failure was the failure to do so, but I must applaud him because at least he's had the decency to accept some of the failures of the last government. On Send, he said, my government didn't do enough on this. It's awful. And he said his party should hang their heads in shame. He's absolutely right about that.
Dr. Rosanna Arlington.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The suitability and financing of temporary accommodation needs addressing urgently. Children arriving on my shifts in A&E with breathing problems due to mouldy rooms in their temporary accommodation has become a grim reality. And since 2019, 74 homeless children have died due to the conditions of their temporary accommodation. And meanwhile...
All I'll say is, as a nation, we are so rich we can spend $270 billion on top of the fortune we were already spending, and yet we have homeless children. I mean, I don't know that I need to complete the thought for you, do I? What is that military spending defending exactly? A nation of food banks and homeless children coughing their lungs out to death because we put them in mould-infested shitholes.
Where are we going? Garbage Island.
Councils are facing a £4 billion black hole funding hole, huge hole, if the government subsidy remains frozen. Every death is a tragedy.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, I wasn't singling out homeless children for the sake of it, like, because you said that, but like, yeah, homeless adults shouldn't exist either, like, and I don't mean we should kill them, which is, like, that's the way the Tory would fucking instantly think of that. No, I mean, we shouldn't allow people to become homeless. We should have some sort of system that catches them before it gets that bad.
And I'm sure the Prime Minister will agree with me that an urgent review needs to happen to investigate the financial shortfall and help guarantee safe homes for every child in this country that is in temporary accommodation.
Well, I thank you for a question. We inherited an appalling situation with a record number of households in temporary accommodation. Every child deserves a safe and secure home. Mr. Speaker, we're investing £950 million in the Local Authority Housing Fund to increase supply of quality accommodation. We're banning Section 21 no-fault evictions, introducing a new, stronger, decent home standard, and investing £39 billion to deliver the homes that families need.
Forster. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last month I visited my old school, Woking High. I saw classrooms built in the 1960s that were meant to last 20 years, but are still in use and being held together by gaffer tape. I visited my old music classroom. I nearly fell through the floor and I saw a hole in the roof. I can still remember the stench of mould.
Again, 270 billion extra for military spending. Just saying. I'm trying to find there's a specific one. Where was it? Hang on a minute. There was... Oh, it was relevant! God damn it. People were talking about hole in chat. And there was a specific thing that I'd seen that I wanted to play. And I can't fucking find it now. Never mind.
That classroom was condemned last year. Please will the Prime Minister agree to come to Woking High with me to see how bad it really is and ensure that my old school urgently gets the financial support it needs to ensure that in the 21st century my young constituents can be educated in a school they deserve.
Yeah. Can I thank him for raising this case, which will be a real concern for his constituents, and I'm sure the party opposite will have heard the reality of what they did over 14 years of destroying everything in this country. We are fixing that, and I'll make sure that he gets a meeting with the Minister to discuss further.
Let's do it.
Mr. Speaker, after decades of failing policies under both Conservative and SNP governments, I welcome this Labour government's major drive to get young people earning and learning. In my constituency of Ayr, Carrick and Cumnock, by working with Ayrshire College and the Pride and Place Board, we have finally a chance to break this cycle and bring real youth-focused regeneration.
All I'm going to say is you're going to lose your seat. Enjoy.
To our high streets through the DWP Youth Initiative. Will he meet with me to discuss this important issue, and will he support making Ayrshire a priority for a DWP Youth Hub?
Mr. Speaker, the party opposite left 1 in 8 young people not earning or learning. We're not, and we'll tackle it. More apprenticeships, more career sport, a jobs guarantee to provide paid employment, a youth guarantee to provide more young people into earning or learning, and over 360 youth hubs to help young people access opportunities. My honourable friend makes a strong case, which my honourable friend, the Work and Pension Secretary, I know has heard, and I hope will be good news for her later this year.
Bacon.
Mr. Speaker, the United States of America is our most important international strategic ally.
Literally fucking Roblox.
Does the Prime Minister believe that his dithering and equivocal response to events in the Middle East this week has made that relationship stronger or weaker?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the American planes are operating out of British bases. That is the special relationship in action. British jets are shooting down drones and missiles to protect American lives in the Middle East on our joint bases. That is the special relationship in action. Sharing intelligence every day to keep our people safe. That is the special relationship in action. Hanging on to President Trump's latest words is not the special relationship in action.
Told you on the outset.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2018, this House legislated to allow the prescription of medicinal cannabis for
that accent is so lush.
Children with drug-resistant epilepsy.
Tony.
A campaign spearheaded by my good late friend Hannah Deacon for her son Alfie. Yet many families are still paying around £1,300 a month due to conflicting guidance from multiple agencies. Does the Prime Minister recognise that this isn't the will of the House, and will he agree to work with me and the
Yeah, as stated in chat, fuck the special relationship, yeah.
Secretary of State for Health to secure a...
Also, who let the schoolgirl in behind her? There appears to be a 15-year-old just on the benches there. Okay.
modest £2 million required for an observational study to relieve these families.
What did that say? Hang on. Thank you, Social Snake. Starmer's Youth Employment Plan. Epstein List 2 Electric Boogaloo. Fucking hell. That's almost as grim as the Switzerland donation we had earlier.
Of this unacceptable burden.
Minister. Hannah Deacon's campaign for her son Alfie was remarkable, and I know how much she's missed, and I thank my honourable friend for continuing to campaign. We are investing £8 million in clinical trials on cannabis-based medicines for conditions like drug-resistant epilepsy, and I want to see patients accessing safe, effective medicines and new treatments as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government's proposed terms of reference for the inquiry into rape and grooming gangs are fatally flawed, as victims and survivors have pointed out. They won't address the role that race and religion played in motivating these crimes. They won't lead to prosecutions for those involved in the cover-up. And they won't even investigate all cases, only a select
they won't do racism. Oh no.
few. The consultation on these terms ends this Friday. If enough people call for changes, including through groomingangjustice.uk, will the Prime Minister please assure us that the final terms of reference will reflect these concerns?
Get some help. Baroness Longfield.
Next level commitment to the Kevolution. Truth, Cupcake Chaos. Truth. We're on a hype train, biatches. I say that respectfully. Brackets. Compliment. Yeah, if we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger Keir Starmer's Prime Ministership because it is dead. It's just dead. He's trying to do this. Oh, we're not really at war, but still give me the kudos of war leadership. I'm awesome, and you're just like, oh, just fuck off, mate. Everyone fucking hates you. Everyone hates you. You're a fucking minge. Get out.
Is now beginning the work of the inquiry, with victims and survivors at the heart of the process. Under this government, convictions that are at the highest level ever. We're introducing mandatory reporting on child sexual abuse and putting a legal duty on police to collect ethnicity data. But forgive me.
And to be fair, convictions are at a record high because so many Labour MPs keep getting fucking caught. Yeah.
If I don't take suggestions from the honourable member who said people legally and settled here should go home to ensure that the UK is culturally coherent. That is a grotesque way to talk about our friends and neighbours.
Well, she was just trying to stop us from becoming an island of strangers, Keith. Yeah, you can't really row back on that one, can you? It's out there for all to see.
And I rather suspect that her next question will come from her sitting up there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 9 years, 4 months ago, Britain was basking in its success of the Rio Olympics, but each day, month and year since, women have lived with the chronic pain of undiagnosed endometriosis, according to Endometriosis UK's new report. The UK's average...
Okay. What's that got... Okay. Maybe she goes on to make the connection for me, but what's the connection to the Rio Olympics got to do with this? Like, I mean, you can always start your question with a weird, unconnected fact, If you wanted to. You know.
Average wait time for diagnosis has worsened since 2020, with women in Scotland waiting even longer, with an average wait time of 10 years and 2 months. At the start of Endometriosis Action Month, will he commit to reduce diagnosis wait times and end the lost decade for women living with endometriosis?
So literally the Rio Olympics mention was just like, oh, that happened. That was just a historical event. Okay, cool. Important question about an important medical thing, but I literally can't offer anything in terms of analysis other than that was a bit weird.
Well, can I thank her for this and tell her that we hosted the International Women's Day event on Monday, and I spoke to so many women who are concerned about this issue. It is totally unacceptable that women have waited sometimes up to a decade for endometriosis diagnosis. We're renewing the women's health strategy, improving training for doctors and cutting wait times for gynaecology services. These will be prioritised through NHS Online or investing in research on how to improve diagnosis and treatment.
You wish on. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. After his inept and failed coup against the Prime Minister last week, Anna Sarwar announced Labour's Scottish new campaign slogan. It wasn't into the abyss, it was rather the inspiring hold your nose and vote Labour. But with the stench of the Mandelson scandal still in our nostrils and the stink still emanating in the Labour Together affair and just the general whiff of rot hanging over this doomed Prime Minister after his hammering at Gorton and Denton, isn't it the case for Scottish voters that some smells are simply too unpleasant to ignore?
Yeah. Prime Minister.
That was a thing. That was a thing that happened. he was on one. Fair play. Fair play.
Anna Sarwar has been asking his party to be honest about the political pressure they applied at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital and taking the action that's needed to reassure patients and families. This scandal shows how much Scotland deserves change with Anna Sarwar.
Read my lips. He's not becoming First Minister. Ever. Also, Jenny. Little cheeky Jenny through the crowd there. If only those humans would get the fuck out of the way so we can see all of Jenny. I don't care for your fucking two-legged freakery.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my constituency of Watford last week, several amazing charities held their annual sleep out. They raise awareness of homelessness with people signing up to sleep outside at Watford Football Ground. Over 120 people raised over £15,000 of vital funding, and over 200 attended, including the volunteers. Watford FC Community Sports Education Trust, New Hope, Hearts Young Homeless, One YMCA, Dens and Hand on Heart did a fantastic job. Britain's Got Talent semi-finalists Electric Umbrella were on hand to give a performance to participants. Will my right honourable friend congratulate their efforts and outline what the government is doing to end the scourge of homelessness?
Can I thank him for raising this, because everyone deserves a safe place.
Again, youth homelessness at its peak under this government. They aren't doing anything, fundamentally.
To call home, and let me pay tribute to all of the organisations working to tackle this. We're investing a record £3.6 billion into our national plan to end homelessness. That includes, Mr. Speaker, boosting the supply of temporary accommodation, record funding for tackling rough sleeping and ending inappropriate use of B&Bs for families, and no-fault evictions, which we know drive people to homelessness.
Final question, Zoe Franklin.
My constituent Hannah tragically ended her life using a substance purchased from overseas. Following her death, the coroner issued a prevention of future death report containing specific recommendations. Since 2019, Molly Rose Foundation has identified at least 65 similar cases where coroners have made recommendations to separate government departments. Progress on these issues has been slow, and vulnerable people continue to be left at risk as a result. Will the Minister set out what steps the Government will take to ensure systematic oversight of Coroners' reports and their findings, and will he support proposals for an independent national oversight mechanism to track trends in preventable deaths and ensure lessons are learnt so that future lives can be saved?
Prime Minister.
I thank her for raising the individual case and the general cases and reassure her we are working on the very issue that she's raised.
So nothing then.
Point forward to Churchill.
The Prime Minister On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, I believe the Prime Minister has inadvertently misled the House. I seek your guidance on how to get him to correct the record for claiming I said something I in fact did not.
We can't continue the debate. What I can say is quite rightly, you've put your view down, but I'm not responsible for the
Points of order are never ever points of order.
Prime Minister's answers. If inadvertently it was,
well, very rarely anyway,
right, it is up to the individual to correct it. Right, we now come to the statements.
Okay, that'll do. Right, okie doke. That was fucking painful. That was shite as always. Ugh. Sweaty spaghetti. Okay, chap. I'm gonna be going to bed. I think probably. It's really reasonably late. I'll probably be on tomorrow to do question time. Minus Sans MTG, who is in Milano or possibly Torino. I forget which one. One of the cities in northern Italy. Did you dodge a bullet? Well, always. If you the fucking Prime Minister's question time is shite. But if I'm to do anything, it's to chronicle the reality of the situation, and so yeah. Fuck yes, Dharma. Honest to God, what a shit house. What an absolute shit house. And Celtic did win 2-1, and the Villa got stuffed. Good times. Okay, but I'll be back, yeah, like I said, tomorrow, and then Friday I'm going to be on Turn Left on Normal Island with, I think with Curtis, I'm not sure who's hosting. And also Gareth Dennis did get back to me about being on the show or whatever, so we'll arrange something, probably with MTG as well, I imagine, which is... So I've got friends in high places, okay, or friends who are high in places. I don't know. PMQs is less shit. Yeah. Getting him on for a hype train. See what we've done there because he's a train person. I presume trains will come up as a thing because he's a train guy. He's big on the trains. He used to work in trains. Actually, he might now work in trains. I don't know what he's up to. Anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. Probably quite late because it'll be question time. So yeah, I mean, vote. You can vote Green. There isn't an election, but you can vote Green when there is, if there is a candidate in your area. Anyway, who should we send everyone over to? On YouTube. Well, that tracks. I'll see if because of the train. Anyway, last night I railed your mom. The surfs. Fuck it. You're going to the surfs on YouTube. Enjoy. Will the stream be delayed with him? Because it's trains. Oh. Anyway, sorry, yeah, I'm fucking thinking of train puns now. Which you need to end the show, Kev. Come on. Who's going on Twitch? Fuck it, Dead Domain. I'll send you over there on Twitch. Enjoy. And I'll see you tomorrow on that. Free Palestine, free Iran, free America, free Britain, free parking. I don't know. No pass around.